Estão nos perguntando o que nós queremos dizer com o termo caos.
We are asking to ourselves
Em muitas
what we want to say
partilhas e nos
with the
livros
term chaos,
se fala
because
em caos
in a lot of
planetário,
lectures, in
caos
many books,
psíquico
is
e
said
caos
planetary
espiritual.
chaos,
E a
spiritual
pessoa está
chaos,
perguntando
psychic
o que é a
chaos.
diferença.
So there is a
O que
person
queremos dizer
asking
com
us
isso
today
e qual é a
in order to
diferença
know which
entre
is the
caos
difference in
planetário,
between these things.
caos
What's the
psíquico
difference
e
in
caos
between
espiritual.
a planetary, spiritual, and psychic
Então, o
chaos?
caos
What's the
é
difference in between
estado de
them?
confusão,
So,
de
chaos
mistura de
is a
coisas,
state of confusion,
em
a mix of
desequilíbrio, em
things, and
desarmonia.
unbalance,
É
something that is
estado
not
de
with harmony.
desarrumação.
It's
Então,
a
se
state
chama
of
estado
something
de
that is not
caos.
neat. So,
Ora,
this is a state of
o
chaos.
caos planetário
Now, the
é
planetary
esse estado
chaos,
desequilibrado
this
todo
unbalance
espalhado pelo planeta,
chaos, it's all around the
como nós
planet,
vemos nos
as
dias
we
de
are
hoje,
able
não?
to see it nowadays, in the
Agora, o
current
caos
days.
psíquico
Now,
não diz
the
respeito ao
psychic
planeta. O
chaos,
caos
it's not about the
psíquico
planet
diz
itself. The
respeito no
psychic
plano da
chaos,
mente
it's
e da
about,
alma humana.
it's in the plane of the
Então, quando
human
se fala em
mind.
caos
So,
psíquico,
when we
se está
say the
falando na desordem
psychic chaos,
na mente
we are
e
making a reference
na
to
alma
the
humana,
disorganization
anímico
of the
mental.
soul, of the anemic
E caos
state,
espiritual
humanly
é
speaking.
quando
And
existe essa
spiritual
desordem
chaos is when
além
there is
dos nossos
something that is
corpos,
not need
além da
beyond
mente,
our bodies,
além do
beyond our
estado
mind,
físico.
beyond the
Então,
physical
quando isto está nos
body.
mundos
So
imateriais,
when
nos
this
planos
happened in
menos
the
materiais,
immaterial
então aí
planes,
se chama de
in the less
caos
material
espiritual,
planes, this is
que é
called
muito mais
the
grave,
spiritual
não?
chaos, that it's
Agora, a
worse,
pessoa
much
pergunta,
worse,
como nos
right?
preparar
Now,
para não
this
ser
same person is
engolido
asking us
pelo caos
how we should prepare
planetário.
ourselves to not be involved
Nós
with
temos
this planetary
aprendido
chaos.
dos nossos
Well,
instrutores
we have
internos
learned
que nós não seremos
by our
engolidos
inner
pelo caos
instructors
planetário
that we are
quando nos
not going
mantivermos
to
em
be dragged
oração.
for this chaos
Então
if
teríamos
we
que
maintain ourselves in
entrar
prayer. So we need to
regime
enter in
que cada
a
vai
praying
organizar
regime
conforme as suas
that
possibilidades,
everyone is
conforme
going
a
to
sua fé,
organize according
conforme a
to
sua
their
compreensão.
time, their
Enquanto ele
faith,
estiver nesse
their
regime
organization,
orante,
and while
enquanto
you
ele
are
se
in
dedicar à
this
oração,
rich, I have a
porque a
lot of
energia
money,
monetária
they are
passa
eludated
por
because the
nós. A
monetary
energia
energy
monetária não é
goes
nossa.
through us.
Ela
The energy,
passa
the
por
monetary
nós,
energy is
independendo
not
da
from
forma
us.
como
It
nós a
just goes
usamos,
through us.
vai
And it
ser
depends
a
in the
nossa
way on how
maior
we
ou
use
menor
it is going
liberdade
to be our
diante dessa
greater
energia,
or our
que é muito
worst
característica
energy,
para
because it's
manter
very
os homens
characteristic
apegados a
in
tanta
order
coisa. A
to
energia
maintain
monetária é uma
mankind
faca de dois
attached to
gumes,
many things. The
Em
monetary
certos
energy
casos, para a alma do
has
indivíduo,
two
o
faces, it's a
espírito
coin of
do
two
indivíduo,
faces,
é melhor que
because
ele
for the
tenha
spirit
carência de energia
of
monetária
with this
do que
energy,
tenha
for the
excesso de
individual
energia
it's
monetária.
better to
Se
lack, because if
acumulada
all the
de
monetary
energia
energy
monetária que não
accumulated
está
is
sendo
money that
posta
is not
em
being
circulação. Então é o
disposed,
oposto do que se deve
placed in
fazer com a energia
circulation. So it's
monetária.
exactly the
A
opposite
energia
of what we
monetária
should
não
do
foi
with this
criada
energy. The
para se
monetary
acumular.
energy
A
wasn't
energia
created to be
monetária foi criada
accumulated,
para
was
circular.
created to
Então quem
circulate.
acumula
So who
está fora
accumulate,
de uma lei
it's
básica.
outside, is out
Agora,
a basic
quem
law.
criou
Now,
a
who
ideia
created
de
the idea
fazer moedas e
of
criar
making
dinheiro,
coins
isso
and
tudo
creating the
já
money
foi
and all of
obra das
this?
forças
All of this
involutivas.
was a work of the
Porque
involutive
a
forces,
ideia
because
da
the
criação
idea of that
não era que
creation
existisse nada disso.
was
A
that
ideia da
none of these
criação
things
é
existed.
que o
Now, the
ser
creation
humano,
was
as
that the
almas,
human being, the
vivessem num
souls,
sistema de trocas
should
e
live
perguntas
a
de um
system
servir ao
of
outro, de um dar ao outro o que o
exchange,
outro precisa,
to one
sem
give to
haver
the other what the
dinheiro.
other needs,
Mas isto
without
foi
doing money.
uma utopia,
But this
e
was
quando
an
as forças
utopia, and when the
involutivas introduziram isso na
involutive
Terra,
forces
que
introduced this
seria
on the
uma
earth,
grande prova para as almas
something that was
todas,
going to be a great test for all of the souls,
isto
this
colaborou para que o
collaborated
planeta chegasse
so that the
nessas
planet
condições e mudou o rumo
may
da
get
humanidade.
on the conditions that
Nós não
nowadays we're
podemos
experiencing,
imaginar a
and this
humanidade
change
como se estivesse num paraíso, não? Que foi
the
assim
future of
que veio
humanity,
para nós.
because
Mas
we should be in a
se comportou
paradise,
de
but
tal
that
maneira
changed,
que depois,
and we act
para
in a
haver pouco de
certain way
disciplina, haver pouco de ordem,
that now, in order to
foi
have some
permitida
discipline,
essa
some order,
ideia de
was
criar
allowed that this
dinheiro
idea of creating money
se
might
atualizasse,
be
acontecesse.
updated may happen.
Mas essa energia
But
monetária
this
já que
monetary
existe
energy,
e que a
now
Terra
that
não é
exists and that the
paraíso,
earth
mas
isn't a
laboratório,
paradise, on the other
e nós
hand, it's a
todos
laboratory,
precisamos aprender a
and we
lidar com
all
a energia
need to learn how
monetária,
to deal with the
embora não
monetary
estivesse nos
energy,
planos da criação, então nós temos
then
grandes
we
problemas
have
com
a
isso.
lot of
Para
problems
não
with
nos
this.
perdermos, para não perder o nosso
Because
equilíbrio e
so
para
that we
não
do
nos
not
deixarmos
lose ourselves, and so
governar
that we do
pela
not
energia
let ourselves to
monetária.
be governed
Isto é uma
by the
fraqueza de
monetary
muitos,
energy.
não? Como você
This
sabe.
is a lack, a problem of many, as you all
E
know.
isto parece que
And
vai
well,
até o
this
fim
seems that
desse
goes
ciclo do
until the
mundo
end,
e
will go
vamos ver o
until
que
the end
acontecerá na
of the
nova
cycle of
Terra
this
com
world.
uma nova
And we will see
humanidade.
what is going to happen on the new earth with the new
E ela então
humanity.
quer saber,
And
essa
this person
energia
wants to know if
sexual,
this energy,
quando
the
sobe para a
sexual energy,
garganta
when goes up to the
e
throat
propicia a verdadeira
and helps
utilização da energia
with
criativa,
the
o que é que
real
está acontecendo? Bom, se essa
when
energia
allows the
espiritual vai
real
subindo,
the
e
real
na hora que
use
ela
of
chega
the
na garganta,
creative
começa a
energy,
vida
what
criativa.
happens?
As
Well,
suas
when that
ações, as
energy
suas
gets
coisas
to the
são em
throat,
benefício do plano. Isso está
the
coligado.
creative energy begins
E ele
because it's
pergunta
all
como
connected. And
se
this person is
consegue que
asking
isso aconteça.
how
Bom,
we might
há
do this to
pessoas
happen.
que têm uma
Well,
alma
there's people who have
bastante
a very
decidida, radical.
decided
Então
soul,
a pessoa vive em
radical soul,
castidade.
and the person
Castidade
lives in
física,
chastity, physic,
emocional e mental.
emotional,
Aí
and
a
mental
energia sobe
chastity.
livre
And then
à
the energy
cabeça.
goes
E
up
quando chega
free
na altura da
up to the head,
garganta, toda
and
a
when it
vida
reaches
dela
the
será
throat,
uma vida criativa.
all the life of
Será
the
uma
person
vida
will be a creating
dentro
life,
daquilo
will
que
be
é
a
o
life
plano para
into the
a vida na
plan
Terra.
for the
Está
life on the
completamente
earth that
desvirtuada,
it's
não é? Como você
totally
sabe. E ela pergunta o que é a criatividade
incorrupt.
nesse.
What is the
A
real
verdadeira
creativity
criatividade
on this
é
context?
aquilo
Well,
que é
the real
resultado
creativity
do que a
is
alma
what
indicou. Então, se essa
is the
energia
creation of
sobe e
what the
chega na
soul
garganta e a alma
indicated.
tem a
So
possibilidade
if the
de
energy
indicar
goes up to
alguma
the throat
coisa,
and the soul has the
essa
possibility
é a
of
verdadeira
indicating something,
criatividade.
this is the
Porque
real
nós
creativity,
pensamos que o ser humano é
because we think that the
criativo.
human being
Que
is
criativo é
creative.
a alma.
Who actually
E
is
se a alma não
creative is the
chega, se essa
soul, and
energia
if
não
the
chega a
soul,
subir na
that
garganta
energy
e a
isn't
alma
able to
usá-la,
goes
nós
up
não
to
podemos
the
ter uma
throat
vida
and the soul
criativa.
use it, then
Nós temos
we
uma
aren't
vida
able to have a
levada
creating
pelas
life.
forças da matéria,
We have a
levada
life
pelo
that
desejo,
works
tudo isso.
for the
Para que a
material
verdadeira
laws,
criatividade
guided by the
exista numa
desires.
pessoa, é
But
preciso
in
que
order
esta
to
energia
the
suba até a
creativity
garganta.
truly
E a
lives in
partir
a
da
person,
garganta,
we need
ela
this energy to
começa
goes
a
up
ser
through the
instrumento de
column, gets to the
criatividade.
throat,
E depois da
and the soul may
garganta,
use
ela
that
sobe para a
energy.
cabeça,
After the
e
throat,
aí
that
vem
energy
a
goes up to
última
the mind,
etapa, que ela tem
and
que
then
descer
comes
para
the
o
last
coração.
stage,
E
when
aí,
it's that
usando o
energy needs to
coração
go down to
preparado
the
e
heart,
maduro, ela
and
não
then
vai
you
errar
will have
nunca.
a
Então,
mature and ready
você é
heart,
ser
and with these
bem
three
criativo. Quando a sua
places
energia está
connected
no
with this
coração.
energy, you will become a full creative person when
E a
the
pessoa
energy gets
pergunta,
to
o
the
que é
heart.
estar neutro
The person is
em
also asking
relação
what
ao
is to be
dinheiro?
neutral regarding
Estar
money.
neutro
Well, being neutral
é você nunca se sentir
means
dono
you
do
to
dinheiro.
not feel
Você ter o
the
dinheiro
owner
para
of money. You
usá-lo
have the money to use it
como da melhor forma.
in the
Não é?
best way as possible.
E saber que o dinheiro
But
passa
knowing
por
that money
nós, mas
goes
o dinheiro
through
não é
us,
nosso.
but money
Tanto
isn't from
assim que
us.
quando você menos espera, você perde tudo.
Because when
De forma
you
que
wait it,
é
when
preciso
you
estar
aren't waiting it,
neutro
you may
diante
lose
dessa
everything.
energia
This
para
means that
não
you need to be
ficar
neutral before this energy,
muito
so you do
coligado com
not be
ela
very
e
connected with it.
deixar que quando
You
ela
just need
chegue,
to
você
let,
entrega e deixa que ela
when
passe.
this energy comes, you should receive
segredo
it
é essa
and
energia
you
estar
give it.
sempre passando,
Because the
sempre
secret is to
fluindo.
have this
Porque se
energy
você não a
always
retém, é sinal
going
que
as the
você vai
flow.
empregá-la.
Because it
Se
goes
é que
through
se
you.
pode chamar de energia monetária de sadia, ela
If
vai
we may
ficando
say,
sadia, é à medida
if we may
que
use the
flui,
term
é à medida que
healthy
circula.
regarding
E
this
se
energy,
circulasse,
is going to be in a
não
healthy
havia
way if
pobre
it
de rico, não
circulates.
havia nada
And
disso.
if
Mas
this
o
energy
verdadeiro motivo
circulated, then
para haver pobres
wouldn't
e
be
ricos
poor
não é
people,
só
for
esse.
example.
A pobreza e a riqueza
The
são coisas
poverty
kármicas que
and the
precisariam um
riches
estudo mais
is something
aprofundado.
karmic
Mas, do
that
ponto
we
de vista
should
da
need
energia
to have a
monetária,
more
é muito
specific
bom se estar
lecture.
conversando essas coisas.
But it's very good to be talking about these things.
E o que é não ter ambição?
And also this person
Uma
asks,
pessoa
what
que
means
está
to not
trabalhando
have
muito, hein?
ambition? Well,
O
this
que
is
é
a
não
person that
ter
is working a
ambição?
lot. What is to not have ambition?
Se você
If you
trabalha
work
sem ter desejos,
without
se
having
você
desires,
trabalha
if you work
não por
not
desejo, as for a wish. If you work because the work is necessary, because the work is valid, because the work is necessary to exist, then if you are able to work in a free way, not having any desire, then this work done without a selfish wish, this work will stop nourishing ambition. Now, if this work isn't done in this way, the ambition will always appear. So, what it is not to have ambition is to be able to work without a wish, not mixing the work that you do with any kind of wish. Do not mix these two things. Just go and work, do not wish anything, and everything will flow. Now, this person thinks that it's very difficult, very hard, this thought to be implanted in our mind. But well, exists a rule that says, think in God and He will straight your thinking. So if you have any problem on this field of ambition, you just think about God, about the creation, about the thing that created everything, that manifested everything. Think in God itself. And He will straight your mind. If you have any problem, you just think about Him, about God, about the creation. Because what created us wants us well created. He wants us, it seems an irony, but He wants us perfect. So you just think about that and He will straight up your thinking. And a person has a doubt regarding the use of certain foods, for example, garlic and onion, because this person listened that when you use pepper, onion, garlic in food, that this isn't good. Well, every time that you place these three elements, any excitement in the food, every time that you place a pepper, something stronger, something that removes the real flavor of the food, this attracts inferior elementals. All of the things that we add to the food in order to strengthen the flavor, all the things that people use, a lot of salt, for example, all of this attracts inferior elementals, attracts the elementals, the most primitive ones, the ones that are continue acting on your organism, even in the food that you're eating. Because if you eat something with a lot of onion, through your etheric body, you begin to radiate that flavor of the onion, that flavor of the garlic, with the pepper. Your etheric body begins to radiate that in the environment, and that attracts the inferior elementals that stay around you, nourishing themselves from your energy, thinking that that's good, and your body and yourself stays with a lot of influentials with the inferior debits. It's not something about moral, of not eating these things. It's a matter of not attracting inferior elementals during your digestion, during the things that you radiate through your bodies. The same thing happens with alcohol. You radiating the smell of alcohol, you will be surrounded by the worst elementals. And a person was very admired when knew that in Occident there was no spiritual music, that all the Occidental music isn't spiritual. This person was informed about this and wanted to know what is the truth, what is the reality about this, that in the Occident, there's no spiritual music. This doesn't mean that it never happened. In the old, when the flute, they only reached in the spiritual music according a very advanced being that wasn't from this earth, someone from Sirius, that was a philosopher here on earth. He said that, and well, there in Sirius, in the star of Sirius, this is known, right? What is the spiritual things? So this person said that in the Occident, in the Eastern, in the Western, there was just spiritual music in the quarrel of the Ninth Symphony of Beethoven, and in some part of Mendelssohn. Then it was asked why? Because in order to produce that, the being be spiritual plan. And unfortunately, the great musicians from Occident, the classic ones, they weren't always connected with the spiritual plan because they didn't have a spiritual life. So you may get a biography of the greater, the ones that are considered the greater compositors of the West, but they weren't connected with the spiritual life. And this being from Sirius, this is why he said that the only spiritual life existed when there was an Oriental Western music. This was something radical from the point of view of the art harmony in Sirius. We also know that there was a tentative, the attempt to do something different. For example, was created the Gregorian canticles. There's some signs of a spiritual life, but it also depends on who's singing. If the monk that is singing doesn't have a spiritual connection, he's just thinking a Gregorian without a spiritual connection. It depends on who is singing it. Of course, the Gregorian canticle installed in the monasteries by the Pope, Gregorian Pope. It was good, but the monks should be aligned. Well, the spiritual life began to exist, it began to be present when the person who is singing or producing, creating the music, have a contact with the spiritual plane. Then, if it's not, there's no spiritual life. This is in the sense that, in the way that this Syrian was speaking and saying this. And now the same person asked how the relation in between fathers, parents, and children should be nowadays. And she says, as a mother of adults, I'm very admired with the difference in between of my time and this time. It seems that she disrespectful self incarnated nowadays. They received an impulse before incarnating, very different from the souls that incarnated in the past, as your, for example. When you incarnated, you had a certain type of impulse, an impulse that was more traditional, an impulse that was in order to continue a civilization, continue a culture, continue a certain type of spirituality. The ones that are born nowadays, they're not receiving the same impulse. The ones that are born now, they're coming with an impulse that is transforming the life on earth. But it seems that they are with this impulse, but because they ain't enough purified in the mind, the soul, the bodies, well, they took this impulse for transforming life, and they took this as acts of an act of rebelness. Because they are going to live in a different way as you did it, but they interpreted this as an act of rebellion. And by doing this, they are losing a great opportunity of transforming the earth, because truly the majority of the souls nowadays are are coming here with the impulse of having a different life. But it seems that they come here, they see a type of life that is not segmentary in segments, and they transform themselves into beings that are answering to things. They are having a creative life, but if they were more concentrated and comprehending better the impulse of transforming things, will be different. I'm not saying that you created your children in a wrong way. I'm saying that the way that of creating a children nowadays is not the same way as it was in the past, but it is a test for the children and for the parents. And until humanity comprehends this, a lot of time will go through. But something is going to happen that is going to place everything on the right place. Now, here we have a person saying that would like to know us a lot here in Figueira, that would like to be a lot with us. And that she would like to know what she can do better in her life. Well, if you would like to do something better in your life, begin by praying. Begin by praying. Do a life of prayer. Introduce prayer in your habits, because in this, then prayer will inspire yourself and will help you to have a better life. But if you would like to be secure, you just begin to pray. Add to yourself the habit of praying. And while you do this, do it with intention of doing the life that you would like to have to live as a soul. Because in general, the life that we would like to do, it is not the right life. So you just pray, pray, pray. Pray for the planet, pray for the poor, pray for many reasons. Pray for you to do the superior life, the superior will, and then a change will begin in you. You will see. Now, it's necessary to continue praying, because if we stop praying for a lot of time, and our bodies lose the rhythm of praying, then we will need to get a new impulse, a very decided impulse. But do this, because you will see that your life will receive a new, will enter in a new path. Prayer has a strength. You, when you pray, you just offer your prayer so that you may have light in order to know what to do in life. Do not ask what you think that you want. You just ask to light in order to live as you got to live. And you will see that prayer will help you a lot. And here a person is saying that has a very deep question about the suffering of animals on this planet. This person, for example, is saying that comprehends why humanity suffers, because humanity is the one that creates the situations. But she asks, and the animals? The animals, they suffer because we make them suffer. And how is this? She doesn't get this. She is able to justify the human suffering, but she isn't able to see why animals should suffer that much. Well, the human ignorance regarding the kingdoms of nature and regarding the human ignorance about the participation of the kingdoms of nature is very big. So humanity has no notion at all of what is the rule or is the role of the nature of the kingdoms of nature. Humanity ignores how we should be before the kingdoms of nature in order to collaborate with them. As the animals, for example, as you know, we even eat the animals. We do a lot of products that we do not need from the animals. We can use the mineral, the plant kingdom, for example. The animal kingdom is in here in order to be well conducted by the human kingdom, so that the animal kingdom inside them, each animal may have a soul inside them and not to be destroyed by the human kingdom. So this is one of the causes of the suffering of the animal kingdom, is what does with them. Now, it is the karma of the animal life. Same as we have a karma in the human life, animals, they also have a karma in the animal life, because animals not always were these domestic animals that we know nowadays. In the past, animals were very different than what they are today, nowadays. So this kingdom also brings a karma, has a karma, and we should have consciousness of not overcharging this karma. On the other hand, to help it, to liberate them from this karma. And if we help animals in order to be liberated from their own karma, we should be much more helped to liberate us from our karma, because there's a law that says given that you received. So you should collaborate with the animal kingdom so that they may have a softer, a lighter karma, for you to have a lighter karma. But this suffering is not, the suffering on the animal kingdom is not just on our hands. It's also about their karma. And of course, each time that you sacrifice an animal, that what the animal manifests as a hate, as a protest, that overcharged the karma of the animal kingdom. So there's like a circle, a vicious circle that will truly needs a change. So all of this may be corrected. Now, if you begin to think how you may begin to collaborate so that the animal suffering might be less, smaller, then you begin thinking about this, because you will be helping them a lot and you will be receiving also a help in your karma, in your suffering. And another person is asking, what is the difference in between indifference and neutrality? Well, indifference is completely different to neutrality, to be neutral. The indifference is a negative feeling, meaning you are indifferent. If you are indifferent, you are not interested in the creation. You are not interested in what exists as a role creator model. So the difference is very negative, because inside anything that exists, both aspects of the creation, so we, in this case, we aren't in in one instruction. We are being conducted, we are being taught, we are being conducted by the aspect, with the masculine aspect of the creation, and also we are being instructed by the feminine aspect of the creation. And in this way, we have a complete formation. This is something very hidden, but it is in the work of Mary and also in the work of Christ. And if you try to follow both of them, you will be balanced, because both aspects of the creation, because without both of them there won't be a creation. And a person is asking how the realization, the accomplishing of the 3,000 Hail Marys will happen here in the Marian Centre of Figueira. Because this person is saying that one day isn't enough in order to do 3,000 Hail Marys. This person is saying that one day isn't enough. Well, for us to pray 3,000 Hail Marys in one day, we will have certain cares. First of all, is that the Hail Mary will be prayed in Latin, because the time that it takes you to pray in Latin is lesser than the time that takes you to pray the Hail Mary in some other language. Prayer will begin at 5 a.m. in the morning and will end up very early on the next day. So it will be enough time for you for all to pray the Hail Mary, 3,000 Hail Marys in Latin. Now you may ask to yourself, well, I do not know how to do it in Latin, what I'm going to do there? Well, you just come here, because in here exists an intention of doing 3,000 Hail Marys. And even though that you come here and you do not pray in Latin and you do 50 Hail Marys, you are collaborating in the intention of doing 3,000. Each one of the persons that come here and spend here the amount of hours that want to be here, they would be contributing with the 3,000 Hail Marys. Nowadays, we were able to do 1,000 Hail Marys in 6 hours. So now we are able to do 3,000 Hail Marys in one day, because we already have experience by doing 1,000 Hail Marys. Now, not all of the ones who are in here in order to pray 1,000 Hail Marys or 3,000 Hail Marys will pray in the same speed. The important thing is that stay the amount of the 3,000 Hail Marys. So you just come here and do what you can do. Now, if you, back home, you pray as many Hail Marys as you want in the language that you want, with the intention of adding yourself to these 3,000 Hail Marys, those will be added to these 3,000. So yes, it's going to be possible, if God wants, for us to do the 3,000 Hail Marys that day. That will be the 3 of November. And you, from wherever you want, for example, from there, you can do as many as you want with intention for that to be added to the 3,000. And in here, we'll be doing the 3,000 that were requested, because it seems that these 3,000 Hail Marys accomplished with our heart, with our effort, they will work so that important things may happen. Because the divine instructors, the spiritual entities, the ones that guide us, just can do certain things for the planet and for us if there is an intention from us, if there is an answer from us, or if it's a request from us. So if we are available in order to do 3,000 Hail Marys, then the universe is going to answer to that. The universe is going to answer to this. And Mary already told us that if those 3,000 Hail Marys are prayed, she said that she will do a lot of things with these Hail Marys, with these 3,000 Hail Marys, things that maybe she cannot do now, because those cosmic entities are strictly in the law, so they can do anything outside the law. So if we have a plea to the heights, let's do a significant plea, because if we don't do this, then many things they cannot do outside the law of requesting, because there's things. For example, because the energy do not waste. There are things that the heights just can apply energy when you want, when you know what you are going to do with that, when you are not going to waste that energy. So if we avail ourselves to do the 3,000 Hail Marys, then I think that this is going to be very well accepted and received. And the height will do many things. I think that in the benefit of the world peace that is very needed. There's a lot of necessity for the peace in the world, and there just can be a superior intervention if someone asks for peace, if someone offers itself for something. So we are imagining that these 3,000 Hail Marys will waste in the balance that should balance the peace in the world. This is our intention, and this is why we are inviting you all. Now, don't think that you will come here 5 a.m., will begin to pray the Hail Marys, and you will end up the next day. There's dozens of people who will accomplish this work. So maybe we will have even more than 3,000 Hail Marys. All right? Thank you all for the attention.